I knew the moment I crossed that line, there would be no way back. The office building was quiet in that expensive way, air humming, lights dimmed to a polite glow, the city pressing its face to the glass. I'd stayed late to avoid my husband's charity dinner and my own reflection. 42 looks different under chandeliers. In the elevator, a man stepped in at the last second. Tailored suit, loosened tie, eyes that read details and then read between them. Late night, he asked. Strategic avoidance, I said. You? Same, he replied. I'm Cole, crisis consultant. Of course he was. The doors slid shut, my pulse quickened. I told myself to look at the numbers, not at him. The car glided, smooth as a lie. I felt the small puff of cool air and the warm awareness of proximity. I'd made vows to be sensible. Sensible felt like a costume that no longer fit. He watched the floor count. You have a tell, he said. What makes you think that? You press your lips together when you choose risk. I almost laughed. Then the elevator jolted. Just a hiccup, enough to make my hand graze the panel. The red stop button winked at me like a dare. I didn't press it. Not yet. My breath shortened anyway. Cole's voice softened. There's a rule I give my clients, elevators and choices. One floor to decide who you are. I've been deciding for 20 years, I said. It didn't stick. We drifted past 18. My husband, Daniel, ran his life like an operating theater, sterile, precise, admiring hands making neat work. I used to be one of them. Lately I was the incision, tidy but necessary. Your ring is beautiful, Cole said. It photographs well, I answered and heard the bite in it. The car jolted again. We stopped between floors. The alarm light blinked. A pause like an inhale before the confession. I could hear the tiny whir of the ceiling camera. I could hear my own heartbeat. Cole leaned closer, not touching, close enough that the scent of cedar and clean linen turned the air into suggestion. We can wait for maintenance, he said, or you can tell me what you're avoiding. My husband's habit of promising fidelity to cameras he thinks aren't rolling, I said. His business trips have layovers with first names. Silence. Then, and you? I'm very good at consequences, I said. Less good at patience. The car stirred a slow mechanical shrug, then kept moving. My body didn't. I was held in a decision I hadn't made yet. Our closeness deepened without a single line crossed. It was in the way my shoulders lowered, in the way his gaze asked permission to stay where it was. We reached 22. The doors stayed shut a fraction too long, like a question mark. I looked at the red stop again. My thumb hovered. One floor, Cole repeated. Who are you? I pressed the button. The brakes sighed. The camera's tiny red eye glowed. He didn't touch me. I didn't touch him. But the space between us changed temperature, and I felt every thread of my self-control tighten. Your rule, I said, voice steadier than I felt. No rules. He smiled, small, surprised, a man who expected other people to break before he did. Then we talk, he said. We did. Names, almost truths, the kind of details that aren't intimate until they're said in a locked room. I told him why my marriage looked perfect on paper and hollow on the dresser. He told me he recognized people who collected leverage because they were afraid of tenderness. The radio crackled. Maintenance said, Car 2, your pause between 22 and 23. Releasing in 30 seconds. Cole's eyes flicked toward the ceiling. The camera's always on, he said. I'm counting on it, I answered, not sure if I meant the confession or the alibi. The car, lurched into motion. When the doors finally opened, air rushed in, as if the entire building had been waiting to see what I would do. "Good night, Cole," I said. He nodded once. "One floor," he murmured, stepping out. I didn't move. Somewhere an inbox pinged. I told myself it was a calendar notification. It wasn't. His voice alone was enough to ruin my carefully built life. The morning after, Daniel poured coffee like a man pouring judgment. My phone vibrated on the island. Unknown sender, no subject, a single attachment. A still image, me in the elevator, chin lifted, eyes on a man who wasn't my husband. The camera angle was cruel and honest. The timestamp, 11:42 p.m. "Spam?" Daniel asked lightly. "Probably," I said, feeling the lie like a pebble in my shoe. Another vibration, his phone, same sender, subject line this time. "Incident report, car 2. He slid a finger to open it. The kitchen clock ticked too loud. I tasted metal. He frowned at the screen, unreadable. "Building security," he said. "Routine. Stoppage between floors." He didn't look at me. He watched the steam rise from his mug as if answers lived in vapors. He closed the email without playing the clip. That restraint felt like a verdict deferred. False relief is a sugar that rots you quickly. At 10:06 a.m., I received a second message. A short video, the same red eye, the same pause. No audio, only pixels of proximity. A text followed. "You press your lips together when you choose risk. See. Cole." Of course. Except the number was blocked. I called the main switchboard. "Cole Bennett is out of office," the assistant said. "No, we don't forward personal messages." Leverage or courtesy? The question chased me like a shadow. I stepped into the hallway and dialed again. Voicemail. I left nothing. At lunch, a courier delivered a cream folder to Daniel at the hospital. The receptionist posted a glamorous photo of the bouquet beside it. The internet loved a surgeon with good taste. Inside the folder, incident footage, official stamp CC, building management CC, tenancy legal. My name on the distribution list. The footage wasn't scandalous. The scandal was the pause and the look. Boundaries are a currency. Someone was spending mine. At 3 p.m., Cole texted from a new number, "Meet me downstairs." 5 minutes only. I went because pretending not to was a waste of dignity. He waited by the revolving doors, hands in pockets, expression unhelpfully calm. "That email to your husband?" I asked. "You're doing?" "No," he said, but the file was already queued for legal. Building procedure. "I requested a copy to warn you." "Warn me of what exactly?" "People love narratives," he said. "A paused car. 2 adults. A marriage with public gloss. If someone wants leverage, the footage is the spark. The story is the oxygen. So what are you?" I said, "The extinguisher or the match." He studied me. "I'm the door out if you want it, but the handle is on your side." The maintenance manager strode past us, nodded at Cole, then at me with the polite curiosity reserved for people who might become headlines. I felt the city's appetite press closer. "Rule check," Cole said softly. "Do you want me involved?" "I don't want a savior," I said. "I want the truth, not to be used against me." "That's not how truth works," he said. "But we can make sure it's used by you first." My phone chimed again. A third email, this time to both me and Daniel. Subject: clarification requested, after hours conduct. Legal language, cold as stainless steel. An invitation to defend myself in a room that loved transcripts. Cole's eyes met mine. 5 minutes are up, he said. Extend them, I said, before I could be reasonable. Only if you let me draw a boundary, he replied. Try me. He stepped closer, not touching, lowered his voice. No more elevators. I almost laughed. That's your boundary? No, he said. That's the metaphor. The boundary is this. We do nothing we wouldn't read aloud to a lawyer. And if I want more than a lawyer could stomach, I asked, pulse quickening despite myself. Then you'll have to decide whether you want that with me, he said, or whether you want your marriage to end without a story you authored. Behind us, the revolving door pushed another gust of city air over my skin. In it, I heard the whisper of a choice. Tomorrow, I said. We talk tomorrow. He nodded. 1 floor, he said again. I went upstairs, ready to tell my husband everything. Daniel was waiting on the sofa with his laptop open to the paused clip. Barely a breath apart, Cole and I looked like a beginning. Explain, Daniel said. My mouth formed the first sentence. The screen began to play, and then someone else's voice filled the room. The secret I carried could destroy us both, but I couldn't stop. The email's body was clean, surgical, a confession of mutual failures, a request for space, a careful absence of blame that screamed guilt anyway. Attached were the photos. The red was now a headline. Don't, I said. The word tasted like pride swallowed whole. Nate's jaw worked once, a silent debate with himself. I had lived beside that jawline for 15 years. I knew when he wanted to be merciful and when he wanted to be right. You think I enjoy this? He asked. You think I want an audience. He closed the laptop, then reopened it, tiny violence reversible. I want you to stop playing with fire and calling it therapy. I could have begged. Instead, I made a choice. You're right, I said. The room stilled. I did rewrite the story, because the original read like a contract I didn't sign. I pointed at the folder. You gathered my sins neatly. Now add yours. He blinked. I pressed on. Dinners canceled without notice. Weekends for clients that ended with invoices and silence. You built a life where you win by withholding. I learned to speak in leverage because conversation failed. My voice didn't shake. That scared me. He breathed out slow. There is something you don't know, he said. He turned the screen to me. New photos. Nate in a hospital waiting room months ago. Head in hands. Time-stamped nights I'd counted as betrayals. Beside him, his sister Mira, pale, wrapped in a blanket. She relapsed, he said simply. Detox. I kept it quiet because she asked me to. The perfume. A nurse hugged me when she finally slept. He swallowed. I hated hiding it. I hated that telling you would mean telling everyone you hold dear. Because secrets don't stop with you, Nora. They travel. My certainty cracked like sugar under a spoon. He hadn't been blameless. There were texts too friendly, drinks too late. But this truth shifted the floor. My revenge tilted toward me. I imagined Leo in the lobby, scrubbing at his mouth, a man who'd been someone's chess piece and mine. I imagined our families opening that email, learning we were a headline. My carefully stacked indignations fell, loud and stupid. What now? I asked. The question felt like lint, too small after the fire. Now we decide whether the game ends, he said. Not with an audience. With a choice. He deleted the draft. A small act, real as gravity. You wanted a confession. Here's mine. I used your lover to corner you because I was afraid you'd never stop unless something stopped you. That was cruel. I am not proud. I stepped closer. The air grew warm. dangerous with possibility. Our closeness deepened without touch. Memories crowded the space. First apartment pain on our hands. The night the lights went out and we told stories in the dark. Laughter that didn't need a verdict. "I won't apologize for wanting honesty," I said, "but I will apologize for choosing spectacle." The red on my mouth had faded to a stubborn outline. I pressed a tissue to it. White turned pink. Nate watched. "Rule number 1, he said quietly. "No audience." "Rule number 2, I answered. "No trophies." He nodded. For a breath, peace hovered like a skittish bird. Then his phone chimed. One message, unknown number. A single photo, me and Leo at the bar, closer than the security cam ever saw. The angle was intimate. The sender's line read, "Consider this leverage." Nate's eyes lifted to mine. My pulse quickened. We hadn't ended the game. We'd only renamed it. "Who else knew?" he asked. I thought of the camera, the bartender with 2 interested eyes, the neighbor who loved gossip more than gardening. "I don't know," I said, truth burning clean for once. He set the phone down. "Then we learn together," he said, "or we fall apart separately." I breathed in. Red lipstick is meant to be bold. Sometimes that means staying. Sometimes it means walking away with a clean mouth. I folded the tissue. Evidence turned lesson and met his gaze. "Together," I said. "For now." Because the next message had already been sent, and I didn't know who would open it first.